Welcome back to Elizabeth Plants. My name's Elizabeth, and today I pulled in everything from my patio, and so now we are going to make a succulent garden today, except I think I'm going to change my mind. So I have an empty one of these, and then as you can see kind of over here, my cactus garden is sitting over here, and I think I'm going to unpot the cactus garden to a degree. And I'm going to make two cacti and succulent gardens, if that makes sense. So we've got an empty one to start fresh with. Some soil is not cacti and succulent soil, so by refreshing this one, I'm going to pull some of the soil out and mix it, just so there's more aeration. But let's take a look at the cactus garden. Now, I made that garden ages ago, and it looks different than it did. This guy had to get chopped, but he grew a new paddle that you can't see. It's right here. You might be able to kind of see that. Grew a new paddle. This guy lost his top, and I don't even know if he's alive, so we're gonna pull him out and check. I added this little guy right here since the move, and then this guy was right here somewhere. Raja plucked him out. So what I would like to do is keep these two tall guys. I think that they're a staple for this specific garden, and maybe remove some of the middle pieces, some of these milkweed plants, and add maybe like a dangly succulent in the middle, or like a bushy succulent in the middle. We're gonna see how this goes. The first thing I want to do though is pull things out of this one, because I think that'll give us a better idea of our palette. So we're going to do that. My space is a little weird. If I actually sit here, chops off the top of my head, hope you guys don't mind. And then I've got all of my plant options right here. I've got my soil right here. This is my living room poof that I'm going to use as a table. It's probably going to block me. I hope you don't mind. And I mean, my cacti are pretty tall these days in this guy, so you probably can't see the top of it when sitting on the poof. But I'm going to show you what else I have to add. So I've got another one of these guys. We've got a whole bunch of them in that one. These are kind of just like tall fillers. We've got this guy, this little fella, my pickle plants. There are a total of 5 in here, 3 tall, 2 tiny. Got this guy that I showed off in my haul video. Another haul video find. This bushy guy, my bear paw. And then I may or may not use this guy. I think, I believe it's a jade, but I think he looks really good, and I don't want to fiddle with him too much, though originally he was going to go in the succulent garden. I might just keep him separate and let him really just continue to thrive. And like I said, we're gonna pluck some things out of here. I don't have gloves or anything, so we're really going for it. I hope you can kind of come back and kind of see what I'm doing. This isn't a perfect system that I have set up, but the lighting's decent in front of my patio door, so that's where we are. So we've got this guy. Well, I'll give you a better look. This is him. So these guys are all pretty well rooted in here now, which is great. That's awesome. That's cool. Except they aren't going to be easy to pull out. So I am going to have to dig around a little bit. I'm trying not to pull these 3 out because I kind of like them, but they're really rooted in with this guy. And I got this guy mostly out. Man, they really settled in here way more than I expected. Woo! And he actually, he doesn't look unhealthy. He looks like maybe at one, well, I mean, he looks unhealthy, but he doesn't look dead. And I don't know if he's going to come back or not. I might pot him up separately. Look at that root system. I don't know if you can see it because I'm wearing black, but Okay, I'm just going to pull all the excess soil out. I think I'm leaving what's in this pot is staying. Okay, so while I am technically creating a two-sided like garden, I don't necessarily care for both sides to be equally beautiful because I'm only looking at one side. Also, like I want them to match each other, but at the same time I don't want to mess with what I've got here. And since this is for me, I'm going to do what I want, not necessarily what's the most aesthetically pleasing. And so this one will be more cacti heavy probably, the other one will be more succulent heavy, and the other one will definitely be shorter because these guys are just super tall. Yeah, we're gonna go for it. I'm just gonna start making moves. So now you can actually see what I'm doing. So this is kind of what it looks like from me. Again, this guy is way too tall for you to be able to see. But I'm just going to start placing things where I think I might like them. Like this guy. This guy I definitely think should be here. I want to keep him in this pot. There-ish. I want to keep him in this pot because I think he looks too close to this guy and I want this guy in the other pot. Then we want something bushy here. I'm almost wondering if my bear paw would be a good addition to this pot. I want to stand this guy up, so I'm actually going to mostly pot him up. So I'm going to pot up kind of around him a bit, but I don't want to fill the center yet. Maybe cancel that plan. I'm just going to keep his roots down in there. Be prepared to pop this guy in. I also don't want to mess with his roots too much. I'm going to center him because I want him to eventually take up a lot of like horizontal space more than I want him to take up vertical space. Now that I'm looking at him, I almost want something tall-ish here, but not as tall as these guys. So perhaps this? Yeah, okay. So we're gonna pot up the bear paw first. So the soil is going to be a mixture of my regular aroid mix, which is the ocean forest. It's got some leca in it, but it's also whatever I have pulled out of my succulent cacti pots. So it's fairly airy. I don't want to super pot him in yet, so I'm going to try just to not knock him over. Okay, we have these two standing. Now, I don't have too many like small things, so I don't want to use them all up in this pot, considering this pot starts taller. I'm gonna get this guy added in here. I'm just gonna kind of lean him for now. I want something shortish here, so maybe I do go about putting this guy, but I'll face him maybe the opposite direction of this guy. No, I think I'll face him just forward. Need some more soil under him. We're just gonna lean him in there for now. Then I'm going to set this guy aside and start the other pot while I think on this one. Slap some soil in the bottom of this. So I wanna kind of show you my thoughts right off the bat. So I want this guy maybe almost centered. Then I'm thinking this guy off one side, this guy off another side. And these are gonna be my main guys. Then I will speckle these guys in. Might put this like in between in the back and front, I'm not sure yet. This guy for sure is going in here. Actually, I might put this guy in the cactus, so we're gonna hold off on that. But then we have my mini barrel cactus and we've got this guy. And I think that will fill this pot pretty well. We're gonna start with him, because he's quite sizable. And there are technically 3 of these in this pot, so I'm going to separate them so I can shape them in the pot the way that I want them. And because I'm able to kind of shape these up, they have smaller root systems, so I'm not going to put them in first. Setting them aside in my soil, as you can see, and we will start with this guy. I think I want to put him there, and maybe wiggle this guy in front of him or something. I do want this to be propped on the edge a little bit. We're not disturbing this one too much because he loses leaves so easily. This guy does not have a root system, so I can pluck him in whenever. He is a cutting, but I think I want him on this side because I know this guy will get taller faster than this guy will. I am thinking here. Unfortunately, he's kind of curved, but we're gonna hope that maybe he straightens out in time. For now. I think I'm going to place this guy within these. I'm not entirely sure if this would be considered a cacti or not, but I'm going to pull them apart. He won't be in that deep, but he will be in right there. He will be here, but I've got to add some more soil. I'm going to set him there for now. I've got this short guy. Is this making sense what I'm doing? Does it look? I mean, you guys have a weird angle on it, but I'm thinking it's looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm liking it. We definitely need another. And then these guys, this is the tallest one I've got. I'm going to tuck in here-ish and pull a purple one into the front. I think I want my barrel right here. Yeah, I definitely want my barrel right there in the front. And then with the exception of this guy, who I'm thinking I'm just going to keep potted up separate for the time being, we've got 2 more of these, but they're taller. So perhaps, what do we think about one? No. I might put them in the other pot. Yeah, I don't mind that. Okay, let's start potting stuff up. I know this is going to be a little bit challenging because everything's in there, but we're going to start in the center. This is the hardest part because you don't want to poke yourself. You don't want to knock the plants around too much. You want them to sit where you want them to sit. Okay, everything's not super secure yet, but I don't like this guy right next to the pickles. I actually want him back further. Again, luckily, not a heavy root system. I want him to sit closer to the green one. Everything's not perfect in there, but I want to water it to pack down the soil a little bit more before I call it done. And I left a ton of soil right here because I want to put my little barrel cactus right here. I ran out of storage and didn't notice. You didn't miss much, but let me show you what you did miss and then I will pick up where I left off. I finished up this guy and set him aside, but essentially you left off with me burying this guy, I think. I finished burying him, covered him in soil, and then I kind of fiddled with this guy a little bit more. I just kind of said that I would be adding any loose leaves to this pot after I water it, because I'm going to water it to make sure that the soil settles. And then I mentioned that there's an open spot here for something flat, kind of like the barrel cactus, but I don't have anything. So I'm leaving that spot open and in mind when I browse at shops and things like that. I'm also hoping everything stands straight with time in the sun and after, it settles in the soil. But basically that's it for this guy. I set him aside and then I pulled out the next planter, which is this guy. And essentially what you saw, or what you missed seeing, is that this guy was originally sitting right there. I pulled him out and put him over here, tucked this guy right here. Nothing's planted yet. And then I set that guy right there and decided I was going to put this guy right here, hoping that maybe he trails out the front. That's all you've missed so far. I was about to plant this guy, so let's pick up Now that I caught you up, let's get back to this guy. So this one, these two back here, the ones that I added, the only changes I've made so far, are not planted in. And we are about to unpot this guy to plant him in here. My hope is that he'll get long and then drop down into the front. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this. I am going to start adding soil. Basically, got this guy potted up. So this is this guy. I'll give you a close-up of everything in a little bit, but I figure while I'm at it, since I plan on potting this guy back up, I'm just gonna do it in this planter. Right now with ya. Hopefully by isolating him and then placing him in a good home location, nothing else will be sapping up the nutrients from him. I'm not really sure what's wrong. And if it's reversible or if he just permanently looks like this, in which case that sucks because he was so beautiful. If I can find a photo, I'll insert a photo of what he looked like in his prime. And this is what he looks like now. Not nearly as cute. Ta-da! That white stuff is diatomaceous earth, by the way. Here we go. And I will water this guy as well, just because the soil that I'm using is dry. So I'm going to actually take these black pieces out of the white reservoirs, stick these guys in the sink and give them a nice wash down, and I'll bring you along for that ride. I was going to close the bedroom door so that I could show you guys these cacti up close, but Simba decided that he wanted to actually be the backdrop. With Simba in the background, here is the succulent box that I created. Thanks, Simba. Again, I know this guy's leaning. My hope is that with sunlight, he'll straighten himself out. Same with this little guy. But I'm pretty happy with it. I know there's a space here. I'd love to put something in this space down there, but I don't have anything. So otherwise I'm really, actually I think I prefer this one because of all the varied heights and the droopy succulents. I love droopy succulents. So really happy with how this turned out. Everything's still wet because I had just watered it. And then I have to back up really far to show you this one, but this is the other one I made. I am really happy with it, but I think some of these plants need to settle and grow for me to be super happy with it. So let me get up close to show you kind of the meat of it. Long term, what I want to see is this guy actually sitting well. I want to see maybe something here that droops, just maybe one droopy or something. I definitely want this guy to droop. And then it would be nice to have another, a small milk tree right here. But I want it to be a shorter one. I think that would really fill this out perfectly. But again, I don't currently have those things. But I'm happy with it. I'm excited for my bear paw to fill out as well. I knocked quite a few leaves off and he definitely wasn't getting enough sun where he was. So I think with enough sun and attention, which is what I give to these gardens, he'll be very happy. So that is the creation of my two cacti and succulent gardens. I think they turned out really good and I'm really happy with them. But if the freezing goes away and it warms up again, I'm really excited to get these out on the patio on either side of the entry so that it's really nice little walls. Also, they'll get plenty of sun there and I think they'll be really happy. I'm super excited for them. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'd love to see you guys creating stuff like this. So absolutely, if you do, tag me on Instagram. Links are in the description down below, so that would be super awesome. Let me know how you might change these if you were to make them for your aesthetic and your liking. I think that would be so cool to hear how other people might interpret the same tools to be their own. Comment that down below. Subscribe to see more houseplant content, and I will see you next time.